Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn Hoplology, today weapons of the ancient weapons, and after we've done it we're going to do leg injury prevention training. And if you participate in the leg injury prevention training, then it's better the arm risk. And this is part 3, I think, of the ancient weapons, or weapons of the ancient time. And we're preparing a presentation. We are pretty close before able to do it. So the first thing is, they existed, we say not really when. They existed very much at the beginning, early stone axes, stone axes and spears. And there was there were the remains of a 500,000-year-old spear found in Box Grove in England. And then 35,000 years ago, the spear thrower was we're talking about weapons and war. So, you have noticed it. The spear thrower was invented 45,000 years ago, and that was a stick. It was a stick with a notch in it, and the spear was thrown, and it is the earliest known machine. And 30,000 years ago, we have, how could I say it sense? When 30,000 years ago, have you the picturings of, doesn't really work. 30,000 years ago, there are the first, 30,000 years ago is the date of which we have the earliest pictures or paintings or depictions of bows, so arching in northern Africa. Okay, arching and bow. And then 3,000 years ago, bronze was invented, and people were doing swords, daggers, spears, and axes out of bronze. And also from that time, we have the pictures of chariots with horses drawn carriages, basically. And in the back, there are people standing in a little carriage, a little vehicle, and they could throw spears and shoot with arrows. When I'm having this gives the Persian Emperor Cyrus, so 2,500 years ago, was it the Persian Emperor Cyrus himself who added the skiffs? Maybe. In the Persian Empire under Cyrus II, the skiffs added to the wheels of these carriages, and these were basically knives or swords protruding out from the wheels to inflict damage. Then 4,500 years ago, so we're having, that is 2,500 years ago with the Persian Emperor Cyrus, and now 4,500 years ago there is the hammer out of electrum, gold and silver. Okay, so technically that has to come after the bow pictures. Okay, 4,500 years ago, the helmet in the royal tombs of Ur, a helmet out of an alloy out of gold and silver mixed together called electrum was found 4,500 years ago. Then the bronze and it was a tiny bronze statue of a chariot found at Tel Agrab, Iraq, 5,000 years. I think that's an interesting detail. Maybe you're able to tell it. There was a tiny bronze statue found in Tel Agrab, Iraq. Tel Agrab, Iraq, 500 years. Tiny bronze statue. And now the Cyrus was skiffs, 2,500, and then the crossbow was invented 2,400 years ago in Syracuse, Greek. 2,400, and Alexander the Great, 2,300, used this crossbow, shooting 5-meter long arrows with it. And then 1,900 years ago, Dionysius of Alexander in Egypt. There was Dionysius of Alexander in Egypt, and he invented a fast-firing crossbow, able to fire, if we say, dozens of bolts a minute. Okay, we have all the informations. We're going to start now to do the shooting. We have time for 2-3 takes, and if there's something missing, we're going back and do it again. A gap. Skiffs and the Syracuse. Developments of weapons in the ancient times, no, but I want to say. Development of weapons in the ancient times. There is in Boxgrove in England found a spear, the remains of a spear, and they dating back 500,000 years. So at that time there were stone axes and spears used. And then 35,000 years ago, that is the time when a spear thrower was made. That is a stick with a notch in it, and into that notch comes the end of a spear, with that a spear can be thrown more forcefully. They are 35,000 years old, and that is the earliest known machine. 30,000 years ago is when the time when they are depicting in northern Africa of bows and arching. And then 4,500 years ago, that is the time when out of electrum and out of gold and silver, a helmet was found in the royal tombs of Ur. And then 5,000 years ago, there was a tiny bronze statue found in Tel Agrab in Iraq of a chariot. So horses drawing a carriage, and on the carriage on the back were standing 2 or 3 people throwing spears and shooting with arrows. And I want to know what it was. I think 5,000 years. Bronze, just bronze. It was just bronze on a weapon, just bronze. Development of weapons in the ancient times. At Boxgrove, England, there were the remains found of a 500,000-year-old spear, a wooden spear. And at the time there were also, a part of spears, stone axes used. And then, 35,000 years ago, there were no the spear thrower. That was basically, it is the earliest known machine, and it is a stick with a notch in it, and into that notch comes the end of a stick, and then the spear can be thrown more forcefully. In northern Africa, there are paintings found which are 30,000 years old of the first using of arching, of bow and arrow. 5,000 years ago was when bronze invented, and spears and swords and axes and daggers could be made out of swords. And of a time, 5,000 years ago, there exists a tiny bronze statue, and that is a statue of a chariot in Tel Agrab, Iraq was found. It is a vehicle, the chariot, drawn by horses, and then on the carriage were standing 2 or 3 people with bows and arrows or with spears, and they are fighting for that position. Basically like an air force over the battlefield, with the horses going through it. Now, and then 4,500 years ago, that is the date of a helmet found out of material called electrum and alloyed out of gold and silver in the royal tombs of Ur. And 2,500 years ago, there was the Persian Empire of Cyrus, and during that time there were added skiffs to the wheels of the chariots. So basically blades like daggers or like swords standing out. Now, and the next thing then is that there were in Greek and Syracuse, 2,400 years ago, there were now the crossbow invented. And Alexander the Great, 2,300 years ago, used such crossbows to shoot 5-meter long arrows. And when 1,900 years ago, Dionysius of Alexandria in Egypt then developed a crossbow which could fire dozens of bolts per minute. That is according to Meitz-Kell's World History, page 106 and 107. I think I said it all. I don't know. I'm going to stop a second, can I? And that was Hoplology. Hoplology. If you were here for Hoplology, you can go directly to the next part of Hoplology. We will do now the leg. What are we doing? I think we're doing leg injury prevention training. If you participate in the leg injury prevention training, then it's better that you have good and standing leg, and swing one foot in front and to the side. Have a flex foot. And the other leg, swing in the front and to the side. And now bring the foot in front and back and back. And the other one in front and back. And now bring the leg up, breathe in. Out to the side. Again in. And breathe again out into the middle and down. Again in the other leg up. Out to the side, again in, out into the middle and down. And now leg up and hands up, and bring the hands up to the side with the action pull. And over to the other side. And now hands again over to one side, but also the knee now over to the other side. Over to the other side. And to the middle and down. Now same with your leg up, hands out, and over to one side. To the other side. And now also to the knee. And both to the other side. Down. Now one knee up and press with the knee up and to the side. Now leg up and press with the knee up and to the side. And now have a good standing leg. Turn this exercise me go onto the knee. And turn over to the standing leg. Go down. Turn over to the other side. And come up. And again, have a good standing leg. Turn over to the leg. Go down. Over to the other side. And up. Now with the other leg. Good standing leg. Turn over to the standing leg. Go a bit down. From the outside. Up again. And again. Good standing leg. Over to the leg. A bit down. To the outside. Up. And now with pipette. No, first the clock. This can go again onto the knee. Good standing leg and go with the leg in front. And to the side. All the clock directions. All 1.5 hours. And to that side. Also in front. And to the side. Now same with the leg. So to 12 o'clock. And to 1:30. And to 3. And then to 10.5. 9. 7:30. Back to 6. And then to 4.5. And 3. And now with pipette. Good standing leg. Upper leg with the heel onto the ground and lift the heel off the ground and place it again on the ground. And the whole movement comes out of the hips. And with the other leg. And of a step. No. One hand on tummy, one lower back, and now lift the leg up in a straight line. If the quad muscles cramp, then bring the leg up and point the foot down. So up with the leg. Try to bring the leg higher. Flex the foot, try to bring the leg higher, control with the hands, feet down, foot back. And bring the leg up and put the foot down. The other leg. One hand on tummy, one on lower back, and bring the leg up. And now step, foot up and down, up and down, and up and down, and the other one, up and down. And now, the horse. Leg in and out, in and out. And the other one, in, out. And now you can do the horse of a step again, or you can do the camel. Now the whole body comes down. And with the other leg. And you can do more rest, or a stand of a horse or camel, or another one. Good standing leg. The other leg has a flexed foot. Swing it back. Try not to fall in the abdomen and be torn up on the standing leg. The upper part of the body comes up the moment down and the leg comes up. The last two. And over the other leg. Standing leg. Standing leg is tall. Try not to fall in the abdomen. Flex foot, swing leg. The upper part of the body comes down to the mouth and the swing leg comes back. And last two. Now, legs wide apart, breathing out on. And out. Out. Breathe in and close the leg. And breathe again out. And wait for the leg injury prevention training. I thank you very much, and until next time.